All right, well, today we are going to look at the mean, median, mode, and range practice worksheet. So let's start. Number 1, we have Jessica, Bailey, Mary Jane, and Chelsea conducted a survey of 20 students to find out how many books they had read during the past 3 months. The results from those 20 students are shown below. Find the mean, median, mode, and range of the data. Okay, for this data. First, you always make sure you put the data in order from least to greatest, and I've already done that. After you rewrite a data set, check to make sure that in this case you have 20 points or 20 pieces of data, okay? Because you would hate to go through the entire problem and realize that you only had 19 written down, all of your data would be incorrect. So anytime you rewrite data, please count to make sure you have 20 points. So I do. Calculating the mean, median, mode, and range. So the mean, what you do is you add up all of these values, okay? And when you add up all the values, I'm hoping that you got 99 divided by 20. Okay, so 99 divided by 20. Why 20? Because there are 20 pieces of data. When you divide that, you get 4.95. So the mean would be 4.95. Okay? Median, what we do is we find the absolute middle value. Let me change colors here. So I like to link mine with a rainbow. Some people like to count over. I'm a visual person, so I like to link. And then notice that I have 4 and 5 in the middle. So when I have an even number, I do 4 plus 5 divided by 2, which is 9 divided by 2, which is 4.5. Mode, the number that shows up the most. So you can take a look and you can even erase some of your markings, depending on how you're doing this, whether it be on the Chromebook or tablet or on paper. So the mode is the number that shows up the most. It is 2. And the range is the max minus the min. Okay, so max minus the min is going to be 12 minus 1, which gets you 11. All right, so we have the median number of books that the students read was 4.5. The mean was 4.95. All right, number 2. We have some students here, and they start talking about the week's soccer game and wondering how many points each 9th grade class has scored in their games. They decided to ask around and found out that the number of goals scored by each 9th grade classes were this data set, which I have already put in order from least to greatest. Find the mean, median, mode, and range, okay? So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of data. I want to make sure that I have 8 new pieces of data, or I've rewritten them. Mean is the average. I add up all these values. When you add up all the values, you should get 15. And I'm going to divide it by 8 since there are 8 pieces of data. 15 divided by 8 is 1.875. Median is the middle number. So I'll link them. 2 and 2. Even though they're the same number, that will make a difference once we go into a box and whisker plot, if we were to go into a box and whisker plot. But for the median, we know 2 plus 2 is 4. Hold on a second. 2 plus 2 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Mode, number that shows up the most, 2. Range, you take the max minus the min. 4 minus 0 leaves you 4. All right. At USC Shop at USC, Emily, Brian, and Jesse each decided to buy 3 things for their family members. So then it describes what the price for each item was for each Emily, Brian, and Jesse. Okay, so I've rewritten those values in order from least to greatest right here. The mean, I'm going to add up all the values. When you add up all the values, you should get 25. And I'm going to divide by 9 since there are 9 pieces of data. So 2.78 is the average price of an item that was purchased. The median, middle number. So in this case, I'll show you a different strategy. 9. I know that 9 is an odd number, which means I should be left with one value in the middle. Okay, so let's think. 9. Well, I can count 4 over. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can count 4 from the right side. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my middle value, 3. And the mode is the number that shows up the most. Well, 3 shows up 4 times, so 3 is the mode. Looking at number 4, okay, we have some students who stood outside of Edwards Movie Theater to find out the ages of people buying tickets to see Justin Bieber. Never say never. The ages of the 15 people they asked were as follows. I've already ordered those from least to greatest. We have ages the whole way from 9 to 49. So this brings up a new concept here, the outlier. Okay, so identify the outlier or outliers. Well, if you take a look at these values, once they're in order from least to greatest, there's one that doesn't make sense. And that is the poor mother or father who had to take a whole slew of teenagers to go see Justin Bieber. Never say never. So 49 is the outlier. That will have an effect on one of the measures of central tendency. So it says find the mean, median, and mode. All right, so we have the mean, median, and mode. All right, mean. All right, after I add up all of those values. Okay, I add up all of the values, I should get 242. Or you should get 242. I'm going to divide by 15 since those were the number of people I asked. And the mean age is 16.13. So just take a peek right here. 16.13 would be right around there. Okay? Median. Oh, let me go back to green. Median would be the middle value. Okay, 15. Ooh, if I have an odd number, I could count 7 and 7, right? 7 from the left, 7 from the right, and then that middle value will be left for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 14. Median is 14. So the question, oh, mode, they want the mode. Okay, what's the number that shows up the most? Sometimes you have so many markings, it's hard to see. That was my mean. Let's see, the mode looks like it is 13. All right, so which measure best describes the data set and why? So if you have a set of data and it has an outlier, okay? If it has an outlier, the median will be the best representation, okay? So the median. Why? Well, notice that the mean was 16.13, but the mean, if you plotted that point in the data, it would be way over here. Well, wouldn't you agree that the majority of the people buying tickets were under the age of 16? This outlier is pulling that mean up, okay? So the median is the measure of central tendency that's the best representation of the data. Median, because there is an outlier. Okay, so we'll keep that in mind as we go to the last problem. We have a couple students here who wanted to run the 50-yard dash at recess, and they asked their teacher to time them, and then here are their scores, or their times, I guess, not scores. I've already put the data in order from least to greatest. We got to find the mean, the median, and the mode. Mean, you add them all up and then divide by the number of data pieces of data. So you should have gotten 70.4. And since there were 8 pieces of data, you would get an average of 8.8. So 8.8 would be right here. Oh, it looks like it's pretty much in the middle. The median, okay? I'm going to do my rainbow here. Oh, I have to average these two. So I'm going to do 8.9 plus 9.0 divided by 2. And I would get a median of 9.05 seconds, which would be over here. And the mode, well, 11.2 shows up twice. 2 students ran 11.2 second 50-yard dashes. Okay, so which measure best describes the data set? If you look at the data set as a whole, ask yourself the first question, which is there an outlier? There really isn't a number that looks totally different from other ones. So if there's no outlier, the mean, okay, or average. So the mean, why? Well, because there is no outlier. You won't always try to take the average. However, again, if there's that outlier, you do not use the mean. If there is an outlier, you use the median. All right, I hope this helps. Make sure you make any corrections to your work and submit it. Okay, thank you.